Good morning. Today on Customer States What? Customer states my battery light randomly goes on and off, and while you're there, perform multi-point. Say no more. So we have a older Tundra here with over 200,000 miles with the 5.7 liter V8 in it. You know what? I road tested it, and I did in fact feel the tire noise, and I could hear the tire noise. Also, we couldn't recreate the battery light that was coming on and off. At least the customer states it was going on and off. So let's look around the vehicle a little bit. I can tell you this much, the engine bay is a little dirty. I did in fact take the fuse block cover off just to inspect the wiring. I can tell you this much, we do have the improper size battery and the improper rating battery installed in the vehicle. Currently they have a 600 cold cranking amp battery, and it requires a 710 cold cranking battery. But we did perform a battery test of the battery, and it did pass with flying colors. So you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to perform a charging test here. We're going to perform a alternator output test with my amp clamp right here and my true RMS multimeter. Let's get into it. So the proper settings to perform a alternator output test: you want to turn the meter on to DC. You also want to make sure that your amp clamp is set to DC, and since we're not going to deal with over 1500 amps, we're only going to deal with under 400, so we set it to 400. As you can see, we're already getting a reading. When I turn this knob, it goes wacky either way. So what you have to do before you start your test, you must zero out your tool so you have a proper reading. Excuse me. Also, when you're hooking it up to the vehicle, there should be an arrow on your meter. Oh, I guess there's no arrow on this one. Oh yeah, there it is. See that arrow right there? That's the flow of electricity you want it to go in, the same direction. So we're going to get this zeroed out, hook it up to the car, start the car, and see what the alternator is putting out. So now with the alternator output test, we have the amp clamp surrounding all the positive battery cables to the meter, and now at idle we have under 2 amps of charging. That's nothing. That's Gugats. That ain't good. So we're going to go through the further testing here. So the first test, we have the idle. We do the amperage and voltage. Then we do idle with the lights on, idle with the lights and the high beams on. Then we want lights, high beams, blower. Then lights, high beam, blower, rear defrost. And then the last test, we have all the possible loads on. We got lights, high beams, blower, rear defrost, and the AC. All loads, giggity, will be on. And we do 2 tests. We test for the amperage and we test for the voltage. So let's get these results. So here we have, obviously the lights are on and the alternator output is still the same Gugats reading. So let's mark it down. And let's move on to the next one. Oh, that one was the same. We got the low beams right now and the fogs. So let's turn on the high beams and see where it goes up to, if it goes up. Well, as you can see, for the light flare in the lens, we have the high beams on, and it actually went a little bit lower. I'm going to give that a 1.8. 1.8 on the Gugats scale. All right, let's continue. Here we got the blower on, high beams on, and headlights, and it dropped even further. We're only charging at 1.4, 1.5 amps. That's not good, guys. It's supposed to go the opposite way. Let's continue. Alright guys, now that's lights, high beams, blower, and rear defrost. And we got a measly output of 1.2 amps. We're only going in the wrong direction, guys. The wrong direction. It should only be going up. We should be at least 60 amps plus right now. So let's do the last test on the alternator of the amperage results and see where we're at with full load. Giggity. So guys, we're giving her all she's got right now. We got the lights on, the high beams on, the blower, the rear defrost, and the AC, and we're getting a measly 1 amp of charging. That alternator is Gugats. Should I even do the voltage results? Like, I already know the alternator is bad, but you know what? Let's write down that 1 amp right here, and let's get the voltage results. That ain't good. So now we're doing the voltage output of the alternator, and I can tell you this right now, with just the lights on at idle, it's a little low. Usually you want to be at just over 14 volts, but anywhere between 13.8 and 14.4 is the allowable range for an alternator at charging. So right now we only have the marker lights on, and we're at idle, and we got 13.74 volts. So let's put some loads on. Giggity. Alright, with lights on, we're at 13.66 voltage. Let's go a little further. Now we have the high beams on. 13.67. Now we have the blower on high with the lights on high beams. And we're only going in the wrong direction. We were losing amperage, and we're also losing voltage when it should be only raising and getting kicked up based off the amount of loads that we're getting. So we got 2 more tests. Let's see where it goes. Let's see how low can you go. Yeah, man, it's only getting lower. Lights, high beams, blower, rear defrost, and we're at 13.42 volts. Not good, man, not good. So here we have full load on. We got the lights, high beams, blower on high, rear defrost, and AC, and we got a measly output of 13.38 volts. Our readings are not good. At idle, 2.1 amps at 13.7. It's not good, and the more loads we put on, the lower it got. So guys, that's how we figure out if you got a bad alternator or not. And not for nothing, your car has 200K on it, those brushes are wearing out. Your alternator is Gugats. Alright guys, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for further content.